How's it going, everyone? The PlayStation Plus monthly catalog update has dropped for PlayStation Plus Extra subscribers. We're going to be talking all about that. There's a bunch of other PlayStation Plus updates that have dropped. We'll go over all of that in a future video. Kind of interesting how it's laid out on the PlayStation blog, a little more tame than usual, and it does seem like it's a bit of a smaller catalog, but all things considered, I think it's a pretty good month, especially with one of the games being a game that is a somewhat recent release, if memory serves me correct. Yeah, it is, so kind of interesting they got that game in the lineup as well. But overall, looking at this lineup, have to say it's pretty darn good as well, even if it is a smaller update. So right off the top, we have Far Cry 6. This is in part with the partnership that Sony has with Ubisoft, as more and more Ubisoft games are rolling out on PlayStation Plus Extra. Far Cry 6, obviously a game that if you like your Far Cry games, you'll enjoy it. I thought it was a fine game. There is quite a bit of DLC to it, so that is something to consider, but you'll have a fun time with it. At this point, I imagine a lot of you guys have already picked it up, and the game has gone on sale pretty cheap. Like, it's been down to like 10-15 bucks for a physical copy of the game, so there you go with that. That will be being added. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Shredder's Revenge. This is an awesome addition, and ahead of, I believe, a new TMNT movie, an animated movie, is coming out pretty soon, so you know, to add this into the catalog, I think is pretty good. Shredder's Revenge reunites the four turtles as they kick shell in a beautifully realized beat-em-up. Came out last year, so 1 year since the release of the game being added to PlayStation Plus Extra. That is an awesome beat-em-up. Definitely a game that I strongly recommend. Cooperative play there as well, of course, so you'll have a great time with that. Rogue Legacy 2 is being added, which is a nice addition. I mean, these games aren't, you know, really my cup of tea these days, but it's still a game that I think a lot of you guys will appreciate it being into the catalog. And, you know, if you're a fan of your action platforming roguelites, you'll enjoy Rogue Legacy as well. And that game still goes for a hefty price tag as well, so that's a nice addition. Inscryption, which has been an incredibly well-received game on PC, came out on PS4 and PS5, I believe, last August, and now it will be a part of PlayStation Plus Extra. Goes for $19.99. Inscryption is an inky black card-based odyssey that blends the deck-building roguelike, escape room-style puzzles, and psychological horror into a blood-laced smoothie. Darker still are the secrets inscribed upon the card. So you have a psychological horror mixed with a card game. Pretty interesting game. Acquire a deck of woodland creature cards by draft, surgery, and self-mutilation. Unlock the secrets lurking behind the walls of Leshy's cabin and embark on an unexpected and deeply disturbing odyssey. So that has been added. Also, next up, probably the most interesting addition to me to this entire catalog, we have Reply Game Studios and Modus Games' Solstice. Now, Solstice was a hack-and-slash action title that dropped last year, and now it'll be headed to PlayStation Plus Extra, and it came out last September, so it's not like it's that old. Explore a dark world brimming with hidden mysteries, master a diverse combat system, and inhabit the dual forces of two sisters in a coming-of-age dark fantasy story with fast-paced action, vicious enemies, and spectacular boss fights. This was a lower-key release during a time where a ton of games were coming out, so this one kind of got lost in the shuffle, but it notes fight and synergy, manage sisters simultaneously, master melee attacks and combos, and take control of the battlefield with otherworldly abilities, explore a city and ruin, customize weapons and abilities, battle different enemy classes, and learn the truth of your origin as well. So Solstice being added to the lineup, then Tacoma is added to the lineup. That's more of a narrative-heavy title. I wasn't crazy about the game, but it was decent, and I think if you are into those more atmosphere-heavy sci-fi narrative titles, you'll enjoy Tacoma for what it is. Just do know you're going to something incredibly narrative-heavy and story-driven with that. And I can enjoy story-driven games, but Tacoma is one that, personally speaking, didn't really hit with me. Deus Ex Mankind Divided is being added as well, which is great. I mean, Deus Ex Mankind Divided is a really good game. Unfortunately, it would be really nice if we had some sort of way to play Deus Ex Human Revolution on PlayStation 4 and 5. That is just not the case right now, and you don't really... I would say it's not ideal to play Mankind Divided without playing Human Revolution. You absolutely can, but obviously Deus Ex is an incredibly narrative-driven experience, and not playing the first game is going to be a little bit of a bummer. But Mankind Divided is still a good game. I think from a gameplay standpoint, Mankind Divided improves upon Human Revolution. Unfortunately, narratively is where it falters a little bit in comparison to Human Revolution. I think Mankind Divided is still a really, really solid game and a well-made game. Had some technical issues, but for the most part, if you're into action RPGs, I think you're going to enjoy that as well. And then lastly, Killing Floor 2 getting added to PlayStation Plus Extra as well. So, you know, a multiplayer title. If you got some buddies that are PlayStation Plus Extra subscribers, you guys can all jump into Killing Floor together. And Killing Floor is always a pretty good time, and I think you'll have a good time with that. So, nice little addition there. So, in total, as far as PS Plus Extra goes, you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 games being added, which I feel like is a little bit lighter than some of the other months. I mean, we had months where the entire Kingdom Hearts franchise was added, and usually I feel like we get 10 to 12 games getting added, but nevertheless, still a solid lineup with a lot of high-quality games, especially when you look at Far Cry 6. I'm not a big Far Cry guy these days, but that's still an incredibly popular IP, so that getting added is pretty big. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Shredder's Revenge is a really nice addition. Rogue Legacy 2 Inscryption is an awesome addition. Solstice is a relatively recent release. Tacoma, Deus Ex Mankind Divided, and Killing Floor 2 rounding out the lineup. I do want to note one more thing. Games Industry reports that Killzone Liberation will be a part of PS Plus Premium and Classics outside of PS5 game streaming, which we'll talk about in a future video. Sony has announced it is adding more games to the service this month. All those titles that I mentioned, and the PSP Classic title, Killzone Liberation, is joining the firm's Classics range. That is on PlayStation Plus Premium, of course. Now, this isn't specified in the PlayStation blog post, at least I'm not seeing it, so that is a little interesting. We'll see if that ultimately does happen, and yeah, that'll be an interesting story to monitor. I should also note that for PlayStation Plus Premium subscribers, a game trial for WWE 2K23 will be added. It is the PS4 version of the game, which is just so whack. That'll be added on June 20th. WWE 2K23 was the best received WWE game, I feel like, in a while. Like, 2K22 definitely revitalized it from the abomination that was 2K20, but 2K23 continued to build off that, so that might be something you want to check out. Unfortunately, you don't have an actual a time period that's been attached to that. I imagine it'll be like a 2-hour trial, but that'll give you an idea of what to expect out of the game, although those games are generally fairly similar every year. But if you're into wrestling games, that might be something to check out. So overall, I would have to say this is the weakest Plus Extra lineup update thus far. There are definitely some quality games being added, but quantity isn't extremely high. There are definitely some quality games being added, like, you know, Far Cry 6 is notable, Shredder's Revenge, Rogue Legacy 2, Solstice, I think, for the fact that it's a more recent release, that's a very nice addition. Deus Ex Mankind Divided is great, but it's been $4.49 for how long now? So, if you take all that into account, probably one of the weaker updates, but still a fairly decent update, I would say, and a lot of quality games being added. But that'll do it for me. Sound off with all of your thoughts in the comment section down below. Thank you for watching, and goodbye. Hey guys, we hope you enjoyed the video, and if you did, make sure to hit the subscribe button, and if you're already subscribed, do us a favor and hit the bell icon. This way you'll be notified whenever we post a new video. That's the best way to keep up with all of our uploads, and we usually try to upload 2 videos a day. And with the bell icon hit, you'll be notified whenever we do upload a video. As always, thanks for watching.